I was very disappointed when I got there. This information is not available on Google. Do consider giving this video a thumbs up and do consider subscribing if you like the content. It did raise some ethical concerns. I was heavily disappointed. Also in this video, I will be sharing the timing of all the places that I'll be sharing, as well as the entry fee and some minute details that you may not be able to find on Google, because this comes from personal experience. Hello there, beautiful people. Namaste and Saubon. Now, welcome to yet another travel video. My name is Richa and I do travel and lifestyle content here on YouTube. I am using my earphones today for mic purposes because my mic has gone to shambles and we have to make do with what we have. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you some sightseeing places that you can explore in Ooty that are offbeat and usually not talked about, so you can make the best of your Ooty trip. Now, before I proceed, I'd also like to humbly request you to please like this video if you do like it and make sure you subscribe. Let's dive right into the video. So first things first, how many days are enough for Ooty? So if you are going to Ooty, it's only natural that you may be interested in going to Kunur as well. I will be making another video on Kunur separately. Today's video, we are only covering Ooty and the things that you can do in Ooty. To explore everything in Ooty, both the popular and the unpopular offbeat places, I would say around 2 days is sufficient for Ooty. Now here are a list of things that you can explore in Ooty to make the most of your trip. First things first is obviously the Botanical Garden in Ooty. So the Botanical Garden opens at 7 in the morning all the way to 6:30 in the evening. The prices are listed here on the screen in front of you. I would definitely go out and say that the Botanical Garden in Ooty is one of the best maintained gardens. It was built in 1848 and it is definitely famous for the 20 million year old fossil tree trunk that you can find inside the garden. The garden has multiple layers. You'll find lower lawns, Italian garden, conservatory. It is also great for cinematic transitions if you're going there as a content creator or somebody who just wants to create reels. It is also a great spot if you just want to go and have a picnic with your friends and family or just by yourself. It has one little shop inside for refreshments, as well as multiple other little shops where you can shop for organic soaps, organic perfumes, organic oil infusers. I got some oil infusers. And you will also find chocolates. Although I must tell you that chocolates are something that are available in abundance throughout Ooty. It does tend to get crowded after 10:30-ish. So make sure you go well in time. I'm not going to say it gets very crowded. You can definitely find your own sweet spot under a tree somewhere. But yes, it does get busy. Next up on the list is Uti Lake. Now, Uti Lake entry fee is only 20 rupees if you're just going there for entry purposes. Otherwise, if you're looking to go for boating, the fees can vary from 300 to 500 depending on the type of boat you want to opt for. I would say that the Uti Lake reminded me a lot of the Nainital Lake. It is best for slow movement, just if you just want to sit there and observe. If you do want to go onto the boat, that's also fine. You get a variety of boats. You get pedal boats, you'll get rowboats, as well as speed boats. These three will be available at different prices, of course. And I think it's also a great spot for sunset footage. So if you want to experience a beautiful sunset, it's a great spot. Pro tip that I would want to give you though is that Uti Lake is definitely commercialized. You'll find a lot of shops around the lake. You'll find eateries, you'll find souvenir shops. There are a lot of shops around the lake, and it's definitely a commercialized spot. Now, coming to the offbeat places of Ooty, I'll start off with Avalanche Lake. Now, Avalanche Lake is about 20 kilometers out of Ooty. You may want to hire a cab for this if you're not going there with your own personal transport. Avalanche Lake entry begins, I think, around 9 a.m. all the way to 3 p.m. And this is a restricted entry window. So what you must know about Avalanche Lake, entrance to Avalanche Lake is via a forest department checkpost. You cannot go with your own personal vehicle beyond a certain point. You will have to take a jeep, which can be anything between 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. The entry is strictly regulated by forest officials, and you will have to take a jeep to go well inside. It is a compulsion. You definitely cannot go with your own personal vehicle. Now, there are some key things that I would want to point out. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to give you some insightful information on things in Ooty. So with the day I went, unfortunately, Avalanche Lake was closed. It was not their official closed day. They normally close, I think, on Mondays. But the day I went, it was not a Monday. And when I reached the checkpost, I was disappointed to find out that it was closed off due to an event. So there was some kind of event going on inside, and therefore they closed it off for public. So it's a great idea to check before you go. You may want to call up, you may want to find out whether it is open or whether there are some events going on so that you don't get disappointed. There may be some events going on, there may be some VIP visits, there may be some government activities going on, due to which they may close off the lake. Do definitely find out before you go, because this is one of the most beautiful places in Ooty, and you may not even get to experience it. Next on my list of offbeat things to do in Ooty is Emerald Lake. Now here's another thing that I did not know about Emerald Lake, because this information is not available on Google. You have to go there and experience it yourself. And people like me will come on here and share it with you. So when I went to Emerald Lake, I was heavily disappointed. I saw pictures online and I said, you know what, I have to go there. Only to find out that the entry was restricted. So you cannot go close to the lake. You can only see it from the road, from far away. It is restricted. People do not have access to the lake. And the pictures I saw online were very tempting and I was very excited about it. Only to my disappointment that I could not go. Okay, so there are no timings. There's no entry fee, because obviously it's not something that you have access to. You can only view it from the road, so you can go whenever you want. And it's completely serene. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful. There was nobody there except for me. And it's definitely one of those places that when you see it, you want to sit and take it in. But unfortunately, since you cannot have a seating area as such, since you cannot go close to the lake, you cannot actually sit on the road and watch the lake, right? But it's very, very quiet. When you do go, try to just stand still for a bit and just listen to the silence. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's absolutely divine. I went to a tribal museum. This is another offbeat thing that you want to explore in Ooty. Now, I'm not a very museum kind of person, but I'm so glad that I went to the tribal museum. Again, it's not crowded at all. I was the only one inside the museum. And I'm so glad I went inside, because when I went inside, I learned about different tribes in southern India, and some of the images were resembling African tribes. So there I saw a link between some African tribes and Indian tribes. It kind of educated me that how millions of years ago we may have been the same people. So the museum is very, very educational. I read about the different tribes and where they are in different forests and different jungles of southern India. Some of the tribes in Andaman looked very, very African, and it was very, very fascinating for me, being a South African and an Indian, to see both these cultures kind of have a link somewhere in history. Was very, very fascinating for me. Now, the entry to the tribal museum is around 10 in the morning all the way to 5 p.m. and the entry fee was 50 rupees. When you enter the museum, you will see them showcasing the Tora or the Toda tribe, their culture, their way of life. You'll see artifacts, you'll see remains of their ancestors on the ground floor. They also have a second floor, or maybe the first floor. It's on 2 floors. So the first floor has all these artifacts and maybe some ruins, and on the second floor, or the floor above, they've got all these paintings, these pictures, these drawings of what the different tribes looked like, and what the Tora tribe looked like, and the different tribes and their culture. It showcases their culture. It's very educational. You can learn a lot about these tribes when you go there. Now, it is a very small museum. It's not going to take you a lot of time. If you do want to read everything, it did take me a lot of time, because I found it very, very fascinating because of the link of the Africans and the Indians. It's going to take you around 30 to 40 minutes at max to just explore everything, and you can do it at your own pace, because again, it's not crowded at all. You could be the only one there. Next on the list of offbeat things to do in Ooty is the Birdhouse. Now, the Birdhouse, I must tell you, was one of the most unique experiences. I went there reluctantly because I didn't know what else to do, since much of my time got saved because I couldn't go and do the things I wanted to do. But I'm very glad that my driver took me to the Birdhouse. But at the same time, it did raise some ethical concerns for me. Now, the Birdhouse opens around 9 in the morning and closes around 6 in the evening. The entry fee, I think, was 200 rupees. When you go inside, you'll see all these colorful, exotic birds inside chirping around, flying across from here to there. And they're very, very attractive. There is a woman, you'll find a lady inside who feeds them and who's going to help you take shots with them. And it's just a really unique experience, but it also raises some heavy ethical concerns because it's not very authentic and it is purely commercial. Next on the list is a popular tourist attraction, which is Peak. It is a viewpoint. Now, the timing is from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening, and the entry fee is around 50 rupees. Now, this is one of the best viewpoints of the Nilgiris. Now, this is the perfect place for panoramic views and drone-like shots if you're somebody who's interested in that stuff. So if you're traveling in March or April, make sure you go during a certain time in the day where it is not foggy at all. It was not crowded at all. So the visibility definitely depends on the weather. It can be heavily covered by fog. Make sure you go after 12 p.m. on a good day. Next up on the list is by Ooty gaye or tea state nahi gaye to kya khak Ooty gaye? Yes, the thing that you have been waiting for the most is tea estates in Ooty. We all know whenever we think about Ooty, we think tea estate. We think vast expanse of tea estates as far as the eyes can see, right? That is true. You'll see tea estates across Ooty. But if you think you're going to take pictures randomly by entering any tea estate, boy, are you wrong. Most of those tea estates are actually privately owned. So you may want to ask a local or ask your driver to take you to a tea estate that is open to the public, like this one that I went to. The entry fee to this one was only 20 rupees. And yes, there were other people in there. Make sure you go a little early so that you can get the best of it. You can take nice pictures, sit there. I went on a rather cloudy day, so I had the best experience. I had the best view of the Nilgiri. Next up is, of course, if you are going to Ooty, you want to see tea estates, and obviously you want to see how they make tea. So your next stop should be at a tea factory. So the tea factory in Ooty opens from 9 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. The entry fee, I think it was around 20 rupees. They show you the complete tea making process, the withering, the rolling, the oxidation, and the dyeing process. And by the end of it, they'll also give you a little tea tasting session. And when you are done with the tour of the factory, at the bottom on the ground floor, you'll be led into a small shopping area where you can buy different types of teas, different types of organic oils, face masks, hair masks, massage oils, and different types of organic products that you can typically find across Ooty. Now, if you are a tea lover, visiting this tea factory is an absolute must. This is actually where you get to understand why Nilgiri tea tastes different. Next up is the chocolate factory. This is essentially attached to the tea factory, and I would say you can skip this if you are short on time, because the chocolate factory doesn't really show you the process of chocolate making. They're just trying to sell you chocolates, which is something that you can find all across anywhere in Ooty. So you can skip this if you want. At the entry of the chocolate factory, they'll give you different types of chocolates to taste and see which one you like best. And as we all know, Ooty is famous for homemade chocolates. So you can find different types of chocolate. There's dark chocolate, fruit and nut, masala chocolate, really different types of chocolates, some that I've never really heard of before. And lastly, we have my personal favorite, the toy train, also known as the Nilgiri Mountain Train. Now, the toy train in Ooty is a UNESCO World Heritage Experience. Now, this toy train operates from Ooty all the way to Kunur. It also stops at different stations in between. I would suggest that you take a morning ride, because that's when you get the best views. There are various departure timings. Make sure you book well in advance. You can book online, book on the IRCTC app, and book at least 2 to 3 weeks in advance to get a ticket, because these tickets sell out like hotcake. It passes through 16 tunnels and 250 bridges. It is one of the most cinematic train journeys in India. Ooty can be very, very magical only if you know where to go and where not to waste your time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing if you like the content. And I'll see you in the next one.